Kids, it's Luka's Kids, it's Luka's Kids, it's Luka's Kids.
Well, hello, my fellow caramellers. Welcome to another episode of Luka's Kits. We're really knocking them out this weekend, aren't we? Well, I got another cool old kit for you guys to look at. I think you're going to find this to be really interesting because this has not been available for a long time. If you want to learn more about this kit and the kits that it was, related to, go check out this video right there. My buddy Chris Martin and I, we are going to be getting back to it. If you're not familiar with our show, Model Car Genealogy, we go through the whole line of kits of how they evolved over the years and what the model companies would take a kit and then evolve it into a different year and a different year. And we go over the Chevelles, which will be really good information for you with some of the stuff I'm going to tell you about this and what's upcoming from Luka C Products with this kit. But first of all, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Dan Doan. He first lent me this kit to do what I want to do that I'm going to tell you about a little later. And eventually I said I wanted to own it, and he gave me a smoking deal on this, and I super appreciate it. And he's always been a good friend, known him for decades, and it's really cool. That's a dude that has some model kit knowledge. He sometimes helps Chris and I out on our Model Car Genealogy show, and he's a great guy, a lot of knowledge, has a lot of kits, builds nothing. I'm just kidding, Dan. I'm just kidding. But you really do. You don't build nothing, dude. I'll tell you what, guys, this is really neat. And this is such a cool thing that's a little different than what you've ever been able to get your hands on. If you're a Chevelle fan and been wanting to build a 71, and all you ever had for a long time was a 72, and then a kind of a bad mashup of a 72 that was just absolutely a horrible kit that they took the 72, turned it back into a 71, then they tried to bring it back to a 72, did a horrible job, and then round two came to the rescue and brought us a MPC version, which is totally different and off from this kit. But that's for another story. Again, you want to know all that, again, right there, go watch that video. I'll put a link to it at the end of this one. So let's go ahead and let's get this open and look at this. But first, this is original, came out in 71. Beautiful box art. Love the box art that they gave us back in those days. Of course, the side looks just like the top, but the sides here giving you all the cool wheel packages that you have, the blower or injection system and all that stuff. Cowl induction hood. Hoo-hoo-hoo. But this is a really super cool kit. Yes, it is attached to the kit that is out right now, the 70. That is, well, I guess the latest version is the John Wick. If you're wanting to build a 71, I think Luka C Products is going to help you out. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's look at this kit and why I have this kit. So first, let's take a look at the instructions. Now, this is pretty much, if you're familiar with the John Wick kit, this is what the John Wick kit came from. This is its grandfather. Very similar instructions. Very simple kit. Very basic chassis. Pretentious guy that I am. And, but again, what we have here is to make a 71, which has not been available since, I don't know. Again, watch this video. Tell you the exact year, but since the early 70s, this has not been offered as a 71. They retooled it as a 72 and went on from there, and we had that in the 80s and all that. If you're familiar with the which is one of my favorite kits, just because I got a lot of memories with it, is that Street Machine 72. I love that kit. But same kit pretty much, but if you are very familiar with the 71 and 72, they look similar, but they are very different in the front area. And if you see right here, very different body as a 71 than it is to the old 72 that had been available for years until they turned it back to the 70 John Wick car. You pretty much have this kit, because everything else right here, 70, 71, 72, all pretty much the same. And this is original. It's beautiful condition. Sure do appreciate getting this kit. This was something I wanted for a long time, and I'm really happy to get a hold of this kit. But let's go through more. Keep the body over there. Here's our cowl induction hood. It does have the flap right there. And I believe this same hood, this actually might be different. You might find the hood in the 72 version that was from the 80s, the late 70s and 80s. The hood was different because this goes farther back. They kind of added this piece right here to the hood for the 72, which is always a bummer. But there we go. Got that. Glass is in very nice condition. You're not going to see too much difference, but here is where it's different. Look at this. Chrome is a little poppied up like that, which is no biggie. I'm going to strip that, and I'm going to be making a mold of that. Oh, you hear what I'm going for. Same with the, look at this. This has got the non-SS back bumper. I'll let you know right now. I am coming out with, probably, hopefully by next week we'll have it out. We are going to have a conversion kit for that John Wick 70. This is going to be direct replacements, no cutting involved. Yeah, you're going to have to do a little cutting, but it's just the right here. You're going to have to cut the 70 front part out, and you're going to have this to go on to the end of your fenders. Rest all just pops right in. We've got the rear bumper. It's going to come with this front bumper here. There's the headlights. I'm thinking about casting these in clear, and then you can do the silver around there. So if I can pull that off, those are going to be clear. I really would like to do that. I don't know if the first run, it depends. We will see. We will see. First run might not, but I would eventually like to start casting those in clear. And of course, somewhere in here I have, yep, there's the taillights. The conversion kit will come with those taillights. But that is the important parts. So we are going to, ooh, look at those. Look at those cabs. Ooh, I'm going to put wheels are in here. That is something very interesting. Those are some cool caps. I don't seem to have the wheels, but we will see. There's just some parts in here. There's the dashboard. I'm wondering, I'm going to have to do a comparison. Now, is the dashboard between... I'm pretty good at these Chevelles. I own a couple of 72s. But is the 70, 71, 72 dashboard the same in all three cars, or is there a slight difference? If there's a difference, I will make a mold of this. If it's not needed, I won't. I'll investigate more and let you know. Tell me down in the comments what you think. Because everything that needs to be a 71, we're going to do that. There's just a whole bunch of mishmash parts in there. There's those taillights. These will come in the kit, and they will be red. I will cast the taillights in red. But we are looking for, and in case you're wondering, am I going to cut this beautiful body to pieces to make that conversion kit? No, I'm not. I am going to cast this piece. I'll put some clay around this, and I'll make a mold of that. And then I will cast a resin that will have, all this attached to it. I will take that resin piece, make it the master, so I do not have to cut this body up, because I do not want to do that. I want to keep this in nice condition. So I might want to build this one day. It's too vintage to do that too. Interior, very much like the other versions of this kit, you have a separate back seat. That's kind of getting floppy there. I always love this kit that it didn't come with a back seat, so you could do a drag car. Oh, look at that. We've got some rally wheels that you can paint silver. Looks like, I don't know, you'd probably, however you want to do it, you could do the chrome or whatever, and then those caps go on here, which, there's the look right there. If you want to go for that. Jeez. Oh, I just got a squirrel. Looking at this. Oh, and look, here's the rings. So the rings are separate. You could do these in your chrome paint, which my preference, this right here. You can chrome those out, and then you can paint those just an argent silver, and you will have the rally wheel look with those caps. Those would look really nice. Oh, what a bummer. The Super Sport wheel is shattered. That's a bummer, because I would have, if I can repair that, I will cast that. But you know what? Might not need to. I might have something to show you a little later. There is a company that I think is making this in 3D printing, is that Super Sport wheel. So we might not need to even worry about that. And real quick look at these. This was always a cool looking, very basic, not a lot of detail, but it built into a really nice Chevy big block. I always liked that Chevy big block out of this kit. Like I said, I was a fan of this kit. I don't, you know, people complain how simple it is. Kind of a very simplified front end. Everything else looked pretty good. I like these kits. I think these built into beautiful Chevelles. I built many of them. And we've got some cool old tires. Let's take a look at some of these tires. Oh yeah, of course, AMT was always send you some slicks, some Goodyear slicks to throw into that thing to build a drag car. But these are pretty nice Goodyears, you know, bias ply, very square. These aren't too bad. I bet you could dress these up and then make them look really good. Look at that tread. Huh, those aren't too shabby. Haven't seen those in a long time. There you go, there's the kit. So there you have it, the old 71 Chevelle SS454 from AMT. Really cool old kit. Beautiful vintage styrene right here. Beautiful box art. I really am happy to own this. Again, a shout out to Dan Doan. Thank you so much, my friend, for giving me such an awesome deal on this. And I am going to be able to spread out, you know, the wealth of getting a good deal on this to put out a beautiful conversion kit for all of you to use. It's going to be really super accurate and really super perfect fitting onto your AMT 1970 Chevelle that you can buy up. I believe you still find those at the stores, the John Wick version, and you know they will put out another version, and they put that 70 out so much that they're not hard to find. They're not a high value kit. And now you can do a 71. And you know what? If you want, I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do a 72 conversion for the John Wick car that's based off of the old AMT. So I know we've got the MPC, but there's some people that would really like to use the AMT kit. They are very different kits. I think they're both equally wonderful, but I don't suggest using this conversion kit that I'm going to make. And if I do a 72 conversion kit, I wouldn't suggest it for the MPC version, that slasher that came out a few months back, about a year ago actually. It's not going to be quite the same. They are totally different toolings. Again, learn about that in this video right here, and you'll have a good time. So, wow, here we go, looking at another vintage kit. Just love it. But I gotta ask that question. Why do we love looking at old vintage model cars? 'Cause they're fun. Here's the producers.